It's not the first place. I had a place in racing back in 47, and my father got sick, and we had to give it up. So then we moved over here where this restaurant is at. But at the time, they didn't have the property to build another place until the highway come through. We're in the middle of the swamp. I'm between Des Allemands and Racing. Des Allemands is about 25 miles from New Orleans, and Racing's 10 miles further, and I had a 10-mile stretch with nothing but swamp. Everybody thought I was nuts. Said, where you gonna get the business from? So I said, well, I'm gonna get something off that highway. My son, which is Donald Spahr, and his friend, Brent Rogers, they decided to take over and rebuild a place. They asked me if I didn't mind, would I still make the gumbo for them? So as of today, that's my job. I had to keep doing something because I don't want to get idle and just go to pot. That keeps me busy. The gumbo is a seafood gumbo and sausage. So I got hot sausage, mild sausage, got shrimp and crab meat, which makes a good combination. I begin with putting all my seasons in my water when I start. I start with about 3.5 gallons of water, and that's the last of the water. After that, every time I add anything, I add chicken broth. Because I said, once you keep adding water to any dish you have, you keep diluting your seasoning. So to keep from losing that, I use chicken broth. I just add all the ingredients, which is the onion, the bell pepper, the celery, and the sausage I put in there to begin with, because I saved the seafood for last. It doesn't take long to cook seafood. If you put it in too soon, you'll cook it away. It sounds fast, but we're talking about 6 hours, because they're letting it, while in the process of cutting it, plus keep adding it, it takes a little time. So by this time, it keeps cooking. And most people don't cook their food long enough to see gumbo. When I get through with it, it's well cooked, and all the season is out to where it's soft and it's tender. I said that way, that's what gives it all the flavor. Our main dish is catfish chips. It's really odd the way it started. I'll have to explain to you. I said nowadays people get fish from the pond, and they all graded. When I was fishing, or even now, all your wild fish come in different sizes. It's not as easy to proportion them. One day when I first started, it was just my wife and I was serving the tables, and the guy told me, he called me over, he said, hey, come see. Had 2 fellas eat. I said, well, it seemed to have a problem, can I help you? He says, yeah, he's got 7 pieces of fish, I only got 6. I said, well, we go by weight. He said, I don't want to hear it, I want 7 pieces too. So I said, okay, there's no problem. I said, I didn't open this place to make enemies anyway, I opened it to make friends. So I told my wife, fry another piece of fish for him. So we did. So I told her, I said, I went back in the kitchen after that. I said, well, you won't have any more problems after tomorrow, after the day. I said, as of tomorrow. She said, well, how come? I said, well, I'm going to proportion them. I'm going to make them all the same size. And that way you won't have no more argument with people. Everybody get the same amount of fish. I said, I didn't realize the number meant more than the weight. So anyway, I started cutting, and I ended up with some little chips, and I was cutting off about big as your finger. Then she started putting them in the sauce piquant and the courtbouillon, because we had all them home dishes when I started, and they would put it in the gravy. So she said, I'm accumulating a lot of these chips. She said, I don't know what to do with them. I can't use them fast enough. And she said, I hate to throw them away. I said, well, I tell you what, I was the tending bar then. I was pumping gas, tending bar, and waiting on the table. Otherwise, I didn't have nothing to do. At the time, there was a lot of oil activity around this area, and I said, you know, the crew change would come, and they'd come in here and drink beer. Sometimes they'd sit in here for an hour. I got to know them all personally from coming all every day. So I told them, I said, fry up some of them chips. She said, what you gonna do? I said, fry them up. So I started putting them on the bar like you put peanuts and pretzels. And these guys said, you know what, you giving us this, Bill? I said, yeah. I said, I was joking around with them. I told them, I said, I don't want y'all to get drunk on me, so I'm going to feed you. So first thing you know, on the weekends, they started coming back with their family. And they said, you know, can we buy what you gave us? I was telling my wife how good they were. And I said, from then on, the chips picked up. They got to be the main dish of the house. So as of today, it's still the main dish.
Ooh, looks delicious. Smells delicious. right on the money, like you said, Mr. Bill. Perfect. Man, I think this is the best gumbo I've ever tasted.